And before this business, okay, so before this business, I was a stay-at-home mom. I was also working from home. My parents own an electrical company. So I was doing the paperwork for them, answering the phones, doing payroll, entering bills, entering their receipts. So yes, it was from home, but it was still like a full-time job, and my son was home with me, and we just we came across the opportunity from Kelly on Instagram, on Kelly Brown, and we weren't praying for a way. We weren't struggling financially. We were really we were good. Like, we were able to take our kids on vacations. We were able to we did yearly cruises with my parents. Our kids came, we paid for it. Like, we were able to do fun things. But after vacations and bills and stuff like that, we weren't able to save a lot each month. And growing up, my parents always taught us to save for a rainy day, save in case of, house emergencies when you get older. They were really good at setting us up to have a savings for the future. And I appreciated it so much, but I was like, oh, if only she knew that we weren't saving a ton each month, she would not feel like she did her job right. But whenever I came across the opportunity on Instagram from Kelly, I watched her for 15 or 16 months. And I was like, man, I would read every single post because I saw them all, because I think I had maybe like 20 followers, and like, I don't know, maybe I followed 10 people. So I saw her posts every day come up on my newsfeed on Instagram. And I was like, man, how awesome that she was able to move from Texas to Nevada. She was able to pay off, pay cash for her minivan, retire her husband, do all these things. I was like, man, that's so awesome for her. But that would never work for me. That was kind of my thing. I was like, I don't want to do it. But I was so invested in her journey, watching them move, like, yeah, a long time watching. And I was like, it never dawned on me that I could do this business, right? I was like, oh, awesome for her. Yay for her. Like, I was silently cheering her on, and I had no idea who she was. And I would read all of her posts to my husband, and he was like, okay, like, I don't know this person. Like, this is like weird that you're, reading me this. Like, what are you trying to get at? And I was like, oh, nothing. It's just really cool, And one day my daughter asked me if she can join tumbling. And she was already in dancing, and it broke my heart because I was a dancer. I was a cheerleader, and I was like, wait, she doesn't want to do dancing anymore. And she was like, no, Mom, I still want to do dancing, but I also want to do tumbling. And I was like, okay, so that's roughly $100 more a month. And that's probably what we're putting in our savings account each month. So there goes everything I was, taught growing up to save for my parents. Like, what are we going to do? And so me and my husband had talked about it. And as we kept seeing Kelly post about the opportunity, I was like, you know what? Like, yeah, we, aren't struggling financially, and we're able to save a little bit, and, we're young, and that's awesome. But I was like, what are we going to do in the future? Like, how are we going to pay for their weddings? Because that $100 a month ain't paying for no wedding. How are we going to pay for their cars? How are we going to pay for their college? Like, it just really got me thinking because of how long I watched her. And then my daughter asking me to join tumbling. So I feel like it all happened for a reason that I had no idea. I wasn't praying for, I wasn't looking for, I wasn't trying to go for it. But then one day she had reached out to me and was asking me about the opportunity, throughout the months. And I was like, oh no, I'm too busy for that. Oh, now's not a good time. And just kind of like pushing her off, counting myself out for it. And then finally she posted that it was $20. I think they were coming out of conference in February 2019, and they got $20 coupon codes. And I was like, okay, like, why not? It's $20. Like, that's not going to hurt. So I joined, and she was like, okay, send me a friend request on Facebook. And I was like, girl, I don't have a Facebook, and I'm not about to get one. My family's been trying to get me to get one because they want to see pictures of my kids, and I ain't getting no Facebook. Like, this isn't going to happen. And she was like, well, it's just for us to connect easier, and I can add you to the training pages. Like, business is really awesome on Facebook, and I was like, my family's what are they going to think about me? Like, they're going to be like, you joined this business and you made a Facebook, like, what's happening? So I was like, okay, if I have to do this, I talked to my husband that night. I was like, look, I joined, and now I have to make a Facebook. And he was like, okay, well, what are you waiting for? Like, make it. He was like all for it from day one. And So I made a Facebook and she was like, okay, well, now we have to get you some friends and we've got to get you going. Like, um, so regardless of, joining and not having a big following, not having a Facebook at all, we were able to promote to diamond in 2 months. We went double diamond in 3 months. My husband's account promoted to diamond that month. We earned all of the bonuses that was here in 2019 together. I think it was like 35,000. And then April 2020, we promoted from double diamond to presidential diamond. It was the craziest month. I don't think we slept. Our entire team was like up all hours of the night, but it was such an awesome time, just connecting with the team and doing it together and being involved together. And now we're pushing for ambassador. I have no idea if it's going to happen this year or not. We're just going for it and seeing if it's going to happen. But you guys, this business has been something that has been a huge blessing for our family that we didn't even know we needed or wanted. And the community that we've found here is unbelievable. And I'm so grateful for everything that it's been able to do in our life. Do you want me to go right into some of it?
Yeah, sure. Just whatever you feel like you need to hear, we're all for it.
Okay, yeah. So, and I went live to my team about it today because some of them are, pushing for diamond this month and, the $10,000 bonus, and they're pushing for the success bonuses. And you guys, if y'all know my heart, anything I say today is not to brag, is not to be mean, be ugly. I'm like the yellowest person you will ever meet. But whenever they announced the Christmas cash, I wanted to say success, but Christmas cash in September, I was kind of disappointed. I was like, man, I know that I can mass enroll and get my 4-in-1s done, right? But I was like, how do I translate this into my team getting theirs done? Because I know I can control what I can do. I can't control what they do, right? So I was like, man, I just don't know. But it had to be a big mind shift change for me. And that's what I was telling my team this morning, just because I know like this month is the last month to go diamond to get the bonus, and the success bonuses is here and stuff like that. But Christmas cash, I was able to earn 3 Christmas cashes, and I earned 5 success bonuses in the first quarter. And it's really from my mindset. And my team will ask me all the time, Tessie, I just don't understand. Like, how do you do it? How do you do everything so fast? How do you promote quick? Like, get the bonuses quick? And I will say, I am a hard worker, and I don't care what life throws at me. I will not stop. My entire family can have a stomach bug, and I will sign the most customers I will ever sign. And I remember the month I was going diamond was April 2019 when I first joined. I had already a week cruise planned. And Kelly was like, okay, we're going diamond and you're going to be MIA for a week because I didn't buy the Wi-Fi package on the boat. I wasn't planning on it, but the 3 days that we stopped at the island and I had phone service, I worked my business from the minute that I got service on the taxi ride to the resort, on our lunch break, while the kids were playing and they were like on the little kiddie slides. I was working, taking pictures. Like, I was being super intentional with my time with the kids. And then when they were eating, I was working my business because I knew my goals. I knew what I was going after. You have to have a why so strong that it makes you work this business when you don't feel like it. I was on vacation and I was 2 months into this business. Like, how many of you, and don't be shy because it's happened to a lot of people, my team, like how many of you just joined this business, go on vacation, you're like, oh, okay, I'm on vacation. Kind of like our full-time job. We're like, oh, okay, peace out. Like, I'm on vacation. That wasn't me. I was like, no, I'm on vacation, but I'm still going to work my business because I know my why. I know that this $10,000 bonus is going to pay for XYZ. And I kept telling myself every day, okay, Tessie, it's going to pay for this. Okay, Tessie, no, you've got to keep going because it's going to do this, right? I am the most consistent, disciplined person in this business that you will ever meet. Outside life, I'm like a fly on the wall all over our house, not knowing what I'm doing, not knowing what I'm getting at, like nothing. But this business, I'm like, no, I know what it can do for me because I've seen what it's done for other leaders. And if I'm as consistent as they are, it can work for me too. So the 3 days we were on the island, I signed the most customers I had signed since I had joined the business. When we got off the boat, my daughter started vomiting before we got off. My husband started vomiting on the way home in the car. The next day, my son had it. The next day, I had it. It was like 4 days of stomach bug in my house. I was trying to mom. I was trying to take care of myself. And I know I just saw a male in the background of one, but I'm like, whenever men are sick, they're like a child. So I was like trying to be wife and mom and take care of myself and all the things. And I was like, but I still have to work my business. I signed 17 customers in those 4 days of being dead sick, dead tired, dead all the things, napping, working. Like, that's just how I am. And am I saying that you have to be like that? No. But what do you want? What do you want out of this business? What do you want it to do for you? How far do you want to go? And then your work ethic has to match that dream. And for me, I was like, man, I think it would be so awesome if diamond was my long-term goal for the year. Actually, Ruby was. Kelly made me dream to go diamond by the end of the year. And I was pushing for diamond 2 months in. I was doing what my enroller, what Kelly told me to do. I was doing the host to post. I was doing the messaging, the friend requesting, the posting 4 or 5 times a day. I was doing what it took because I knew what my dream was. And from day one, I took quitting off of the table. I was not going to allow myself to quit because I felt like I was quitting on my family, my future, my husband, my kids, myself. I'm like, wait, my daughter's old enough to know that I'm doing this. And if I quit and she asks me, Mom, what happened to that business or job you were doing? I would have to tell her I quit. And then she would think it's okay for her to quit in the future. And I was like, nope, it's not happening. Now, I did tell myself I will give it 1 year. When I joined, I was like, okay, me and my husband were laying in bed. I was like, okay, I'm going to make the Facebook page tomorrow and I'm going to give it 1 year. He was like, okay, 1 year. He was like, Tessie, doing everything that Kelly tells you to do. You do it 1 year. I was like, yeah. And if I'm not making money, he was like, you can quit. And at least you tried. I was like, okay, you guys, 14 months in, we were presidential diamond. Why? Because I was consistent. I was disciplined. I didn't let excuses hit me. And I'm not saying, I haven't had the hardest excuses. Like, thankfully, I haven't had to go through like close family deaths or, anything like that. But when I joined the business, my mom just had a double mastectomy and reconstruction surgery in her stomach. And I was her complete caregiver while taking care of my son at home, bringing my daughter to school and running the business and cooking supper because I don't cook. And I was like, what am I getting myself into? But thankfully, I didn't have to go to a job. I could be her caregiver and do this business. So I've never had like huge, like deaths or things like that. But I've had life thrown at me. And for me, I always think of myself, okay, if I'm working a full-time job away from home, how would that affect me right now? What life's throwing at me in my full-time job, what I still have to go to my full-time job or I take off without pay. This business, I can still work through that. I can work around the life happening and still get paid. And that's a blessing. And I will work hard and I will wake up at 5 o'clock and stay up till 11 o'clock if I have to get what I want, to get the benefits now so that later on in life, I can pay for colleges and weddings and cars in cash. My kids can go to law school if they want, and it can be paid in cash. Not right now. Thankfully, that's a couple of years down the road. But what I'm saying is you never know what life is going to throw at you now, and you never know what it's going to throw at you later in life. But I want to be prepared financially for it. My kids had a dentist appointment Monday, and it was $2,300 to fill those cavities in those little kids' teeth that me and my husband brush every day and night. And I'm like, I don't understand. We don't have cavities and we brush their teeth. What's happening right now? But it was $2,300. My son could only do one because it was the bottom of his mouth. So it ended up being only $500 that day because my daughter acted like the exorcist coming out of that chair, not wanting to cooperate. So they're like, you're going to have to come back another day and we're going to have to sedate her. Might I add, that's adding on an extra $360. that before this business was coming straight out of our savings account that took us almost 4 months to save. But because of this business, we're able to pay it in cash. I'm like, oh, okay, that kind of hurts. $360 extra that, already on top of 2,300, but it's not a struggle financially for us. It's not putting us in a bind. It's not asking for money to loan or having to pay monthly notes on it. And before this business, $2,300 plus $2,600, we probably would have had to do monthly notes, hey, can you work with this here, or put it on a credit card? But now we're able to pay it cash because I decide every day to wake up and work this like a business. You cannot call into your full-time job and say, hey, this week I'm only going to come in Monday, Wednesday, Friday. They'd be like, girl, you better come in every day or you're not going to be here. You can't pick and choose with a full-time job. And it's the same thing with this. I'm not saying you have to work it 8 hours a day, because if you're super intentional, it doesn't take 8 hours. But how much time can you give to it? How far do you want to go? Because the more you put into it, the more you're going to get out of it. The more vacations you can take with your family. The more we never gave monthly to our church. It's just not how we were brought up. We weren't raised that way. My parents didn't do it. My grandparents did. They didn't talk to us a lot about it. So that was something we never did. Now, because of this business, we give 4 figures a month, and it's more than we saved in a year. We give monthly to St. Jude's. Today, we're going to sit with an investor and we're going to start investing. That's something I only dreamed of doing before this business. So I was like, man, what are we going to, because I heard my parents talking about it, really is the only reason. But I would hear them talking about, their 401 papers came in and they're investing and all this stuff. And I'm like, well, I only have $100 and that goes into the savings account for emergencies. How will we ever invest? But because of this business, we get to go and do that today. On my dream board, a goal of ours this year is also to sponsor a new kid. I would have never thought of that before this business. This business has opened me and my husband's eyes to so many opportunities that we only dreamed of and sometimes never even thought about. But it does take work. It does take quitting off the table. The only way to lose at this business is if you quit. I'm telling you, take the quitting off the table. Decide that you're going to work this business every day. I'm like, I don't know, if we have certain ranks or if this is like an entire Zoom that, varies rank to rank, but you guys, there's a diamond bonus. Is there anybody not on here diamond? Yeah. Okay, perfect. So we're working with all ranks. Okay, cool. So I'm like, you guys, there's still half a month left to get this diamond bonus. What would $10,000 do for you? And you have to connect your goals to something that it works best for me. So when the Christmas cash came out, I was like, okay, I want to earn 3 of them. 3 just popped into my head. I had no idea how it was going to happen. I didn't know what was about to take place, but I was like, I just want to earn 3 of them, 15,000. That's cool. I'll take it. But we had wanted to take our first ever family vacation to the snow. We're in Louisiana. We don't get snow down here. It's hot. It's muggy. It doesn't get cold. So I'm like, wait, our kids want to go to the snow. And personally, I did too. The trip was more for me than my kids. But I was like, man, those trips to Colorado aren't cheap. So I was like, okay, I want to earn 2 to pay for the trip. And then the third one to save. That was my goal. So the days that I didn't feel like sending the messages for host to post, or the Saturdays that I didn't feel like getting out of bed early for our team power hour, I was like, no, you have a Colorado trip to pay for. You have a savings account to pay for, to put into, and that's what kept me going every day. I always connect something to a goal. Right now, ambassador is our next goal. What is ambassador going to do? I'm attaching ambassador to having a really, really, really nice big dream home that's coming that we're saving for. I'm like, I don't know what it's going to be. My husband doesn't want a big house, but I want a big house. So I've got to work for it. I'm attaching it to things. I want to upgrade my wedding ring, just the diamond, because I can never get rid of it. Just the diamond. Okay, well, I know what that amount is, and I'm going to earn a success bonus just that's designated for that, right? So you have to connect your goals to something, and that's going to make you work harder. It's going to make it fun because you know what you're working towards. You know what the end goal is. And, whether you've had big success or you're just joining and you're like, I don't even know what I want. If you take a look, on your team and then just around in the company at all the leaders in the company, they've failed. They've felt discouraged. They've, probably the thought of quitting has gone through their minds, but they're successful because they didn't quit. They're successful because they kept pushing through those hard times. And you have that same opportunity. You have everything you need inside of you. What are you willing to do to get what you want? Sometimes it might take, I remember when we were pushing presidential, like me and my husband were up on the couch following up with people. He was helping me chart, which he's not helping me chart anymore. I'm like, wait, you just wanted us to get there that month. And now you're like, hey, bye, we hit the goal. See you later. But we were up till 11, 12 o'clock sitting on the couch. And I will never forget it. Working, talking, doing the things. And 4:45, my alarm was going off again. And it's like I had so much excitement in me because I knew what it was doing to people on my team. It was fun. It was, I didn't feel tired. If I sat down and thought about it, yeah, I was tired. Of course, 4 hours of sleep a night for the entire month. Our team was tired, right? But when everybody hit those promotions and we were on a Zoom together and celebrating together, not one person put in the chat, man, I was so tired. I wish I would have slept more, right? You don't think of those moments whenever you're excited and you know what you're going after and you hit that goal. And for some, it might take a couple of months. And we've been pushing Ambassador since April 20 or May 2020, and it's still not here yet, right? But you grow a little bit every day and you keep pushing forward. And the time will come. Your time will come. But your time will not come if you quit. Your time will not come if you choose certain days to work this business and not every day. And life happens. We get that. But don't let it knock you down. That's going to make you stronger. Push through it, work around it. I'm like, we've had life happen, but like I said, nothing like super major. And there's always been some times where my husband was like, hey, did you check in on your team today? Just kind of gave me that like friendly reminder, like, hey, I know life's happening, but you still own a business. You're still getting paid. You didn't have to take off of work. You didn't have to call in when your kids are sick. You guys, this business can be the biggest blessing. But you have to let it. You have to want it. Attach it to goals. And then remember, you have to work for it. So if you're wanting diamond, are you willing to put in the work that it's going to take to go diamond? Because it's going to take work. Diamonds are made under pressure. There's going to be pressure. There's going to be the enemy sneaking in, trying to stop you from hitting that goal. There's going to be all the things. But just realizing and noticing like, okay, wait, that's the enemy. I've got to push him out and keep going forward will get you really far in this business.
Oh my gosh. Can anyone say chills? Because I have freaking chills. Oh my gosh, that was amazing. Thank you so much for sharing with us. I feel like that was everything I definitely needed to hear. If you guys loved it, please put that in the chat. Blow her up. I'm going to stop recording.